Hello there, Keith Downing presenting the Team 2 Waterfall Charter Paper, CIT 380 course. Team members include Marley Balls, Delvin Sorto Mateo, Chris Balschweiler, Keith Downing, and Leah Hodges. We're going to be talking about emergency preparedness. The need and opportunity. Disaster is sudden events that can happen in an instant. If we prepare for them today, then we will have what we need tomorrow. It's not possible to effectively plan for disaster in the moment with heightened emotions, absolute uncertainty, and limited resources. We need to prepare today to meet our basic needs and survive through one of the hardest trials we may ever experience. Our feasibility. Many items that needed to create a successful emergency prepared home are already located inside each home. We'll organize these materials, purchase the necessary supplies, and create a step-by-step guide to prepare others for possible disasters. 50% of this project is through research. The other 50% is acting on the research we find. We'll spend 2 weeks researching the disasters that may occur in our area. Then we will spend 1 week organizing and purchasing necessary survival assets. And the last week will be spent creating a step-by-step guide to help others prepare for possible disasters. The goal is to leave our homes in 10 to 15 minutes with our valuable assets to help us survive and get to a safe location. And we'll also create a plan to gradually build our food storage this year. The scope. Our factors are that'll be necessary, feasible, prioritized, verifiable, and unambiguous. The necessary will keep our families alive and safe. And without preparation during a disaster, we could be in full panic and miss key steps for success. Feasible. This will allow it to be open for personal interpretation. There'll be many ways to achieve a level of preparedness, and the team will just choose an appropriate level for their personal situation. Prioritized. The scope narrowed down 1 to 2 disasters per group member. And the disasters will be given high priority instead of focusing on 3 to 4 events. Verifiable will be verified through 2 test scenarios listed in the subsequent slides. And we'll be able to support our research and planning by putting it into action and showing our plan to a third party for judgment. And then the unambiguous portion will be achieved by clearly stating which disasters we are researching, how prepared we are for them, and how the reader can be as well. We will use natural language and explain items that readers may be unfamiliar with. In our work breakdown structure, or the WBS, it has 3 main categories: the general plan, as stated in the diagram on the far left below. Equipment and supplies is in the middle, and then testing will be on the far right. We're going to need to have a plan on where to go that will keep your family healthy, dry, and away from harm, or if the plan is to stay where you are, making sure all necessary things are readily available. Supplies will be needed to assure that everyone in your group can be sustained for at least 72 hours. And extremely important to assure all supplies needed are prepared and stored well in advance of any natural disaster. This will give you the opportunity to evacuate safely and effectively. Following all the preparations, testing will occur to assure all things that are needed are supplied and in place, and that all people involved are prepared for the disaster in question, so there would be less panic in the event of an emergency. And then we have our 2 test scenarios labeled 1 and labeled number 2. Number 1, the first test will be completed in the afternoon of an undisclosed day. Have a friend send a text to my group reporting that there are disasters occurring right now in their location. We'll be able to report back when they see the text and how long it takes them to either leave their home in case of a fire or prepare to be snowed in or flooded. The goal is to be able to evacuate a fire under 5 minutes because it takes anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes to pass out from the smoke, referenced from Thumbwood 2015. For a snowstorm, we need to know where the closest emergency shelter is to evacuate in the event we lose power or heat. In the event of a flash flood, we need to find higher ground and to do not drive through moving water. Test scenario 2 is we'll have a family member or friend inspect our emergency supplies and plans to get an outside opinion on the situation. And then they can assess how well we have prepared for the disaster and if improvements are required. The quality portion, as defined here in our chart, will have the main categories of the project completion, the contingencies covered, budget, originality, and participation as the items on the far left. And there's a description of what those entail. Then there will be the measurement on what level of score we would receive. And then in the score column on the far right would be out of 5 points on each category for a total of 25 points. The risk portion of our project has a risk as well as any other project, as well as rewards. There's also the possibility that the project will not be completed within the 4-week period that has been outlined. Also, there's keeping the budget of $200 per member might be an issue due to financial obligations of the group. The participation of the group might not be as strong due to members not actively participating or leaving the group. The supplies needed might not be able to be obtained, and all of the contingencies in the project might not be adequately planned for in the project. There also might not be enough material to draw research from to lend support to the contingencies. Some resources outlined: computers or electronic communication devices, mobile data or Wi-Fi connectivity. And there's some supplies: food, water, a first aid kit, map or GPS device, a backpack or carrying bag. Team members on the project or extra help is needed. Any research materials required, time spent for research and collecting supplies, and the location of a meeting place and or a time scheduled are the resources we have so far. Time. Gathering supplies will be the most time-consuming part of the project. Gathering food will take anywhere from 1 hour, or buying a pre-made food supply, to around 5 hours buying items individual and making multiple trips. This also includes obtaining a water supply. Gathering other supplies like tools, first aid kit, and hygiene products should take around 2 hours. Finally, gather important documents and having them organized and ready to go should take no longer than 1 hour. We will also need time to organize the supplies and get it ready, and this should take around 2 hours. In total, gathering supplies should take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours from the onset of the project start time. In cost, from the grid here, we have on the supplies for 2 weeks we have food, water, first aid, tools, hygiene products, and then the total. And the middle column has for the cost of 1 individual, and then the cost for 4 is on the far right of the column. And this has been Keith Downing presenting for CIT 380 Waterfall Project. Thank you.